Leaders in Guam's law enforcement were called to the University of Guam. This after the public finance and fiscal policy class had been investigating the problems at the Department of Corrections prison.
A lot of data development, a lot of interviews from everyone that has anything to do with corrections, including inmates.
Former Senator Dr. Judy Guthards is their professor.
The students for this Christmas class, it's an intersession class, there are about 8 students chose to focus on the Department of Corrections. They decided that because the department seems to be neglected, and it's time for the leaders of Guam to really help out DOC. We haven't seen the kind of help that they really need to solve this issue once and for all. Overcrowding is a manifestation of the problems, but there are other issues as well.
Attendees at the presentation included the director of DOC and the chief of police. Dr. Guthards noting the problems persist for both the inmates and the employees. They shared concern that if something isn't done fast, that the feds could very well step in and take back control.
Well, it's only 5 years later, and look at where we are now. What happened? And why can't we seem to solve this problem?
An inhumane situation she says island leaders need to address.
They have to find the money. That's the responsibilities of these leaders. All throughout the government, they have to find the money. They can't let people live the way they're living at DOC. The congestion, the health conditions, the potential danger. What if there's a riot there? What if they break out there? You know, we're going to have a serious problem.
Class Chair Julian Laksamana says the research included speaking with attorneys and looking into past lawsuits filed against the prison.
Considered the bigger population in America, so the ones that we actually looked into was a local Maine state correctional facility because their overcrowding is also within 900. But, you know, keep in mind that's just like for a little county jail. So if you put into perspective of everyone else having the overcrowding, it kind of makes sense because, you know, there's millions and billions in one state. But for Guam specifically, there should be like really no more than 180,000 just on this little island. And to have an overcrowding of 900 and to still have this issue a few years later, despite the earliest finding that I found for the complaint of an overcrowding was sometime in 2015, to still have this issue still be here and like pervade through, you know, the years, it's kind of concerning.
Among the recommendations, relocate some of the detainee population.
The recommendation was to relocate them into the Department of Youth Affairs, move the Department of Youth Affairs, because they have like 20 young people that stay there, to one of the new schools, the schools that will be perhaps available from the Department of Education. Temporarily convert that to the Department of Youth Affairs to help relieve the congestion at DOC.
Ultimately, the class is aware DOC is trying to build a new facility, but also knows that process could take decades to finally complete. Nick Delgado, KUAM News.